Super quick video for the women in the Torah movement who are hell-bent on keeping the feasts outside of their inheritance, outside of the land where Yah puts his name, which is Jerusalem. So for us in the Northern Kingdom, who are scattered abroad, who are Israel, who haven't been given their inheritance yet, because they're still scattered within the Gentiles, they lost their inheritance. Our inheritance is New Jerusalem. That is when we will feast again. But this is just super quick. I just want to focus on one point. Because if you are saying it is sin to not do his feast when you're in Babylon, meaning America, or outside of your inheritance, like I am in the UK, go to Daniel chapter 10. Daniel fasts over Passover. Is Daniel in sin? He just understands the law. So the biggest warning to Ephraim, to Babylon, to the American people in the latter days who wake up partially, the people in the Torah movement really, in Hosea 8, is that they repent from Christmas and Easter and they start to profane his sacrifices. And it says plain and simple, the Lord accepts them not. Did I just say accepts? The Lord accepts them not. He doesn't accept Ephraim's version of his sacrifices, his feasts. Because altars were under them to sin. They created these altars to sin, Christmas and Easter, that they actually borrowed from the heathen roundabout. Read all of Hosea 8, this is the context. They repent of that. So they repent from Christmas and Easter, they start to do Yah's feasts, and they profane his feast and eat the sacrifice. But Yah doesn't accept them. Why? Because they consider the great things in his law a strange thing. The great things in his law is Deuteronomy 12 and 16, where it tells you that, yes, the feasts are forever, if you're in the land of your inheritance, if it's at the appointed time. If you don't have the true calendar and you're not in New Jerusalem, if you are Israel scattered abroad right now, you have to wait till New Jerusalem to do the feast. That's prophetic. You have to wait until you're given your inheritance. So it's like Ephraim wake up, they repent from going to the left, and then they go to the right. Start blending Jewish tradition, start profaning Yah's feast when he said never to do that. He doesn't accept it. So all these people in the Torah movement that say to us, oh, you don't do his feast, you're in sin, you're disobeying the Torah. You are partial in the Torah because you ignore the great things in his law that says you can only do the feasts if this is the case. You just read, it's selective hearing. Do the feast forever. You miss off the conditions. It's just ridiculous. Daniel fasts over Passover in Daniel 10. Was Daniel in sin? No, of course he wasn't. He understands Deuteronomy 12 and 16. He understood the law. It's so prophetic as well because Daniel was in Babylon. Where's Ephraim? What are these Ephraimites doing? They're in Babylon. They're in Ephraim, profaning Yah's feasts instead of listening to the law like Daniel did. So women in the Torah movement, why did Daniel fast over Passover? Was he in sin? Was he ignoring the Passover? Or did he just understand the law, but you don't? And just to drive this point home even more to you women in the Torah movement, the whole reason you're in error is because your hands are full of blood. You were woke up to go and warn the church that you came out of to keep the 10 Commandments. But instead, because you don't have the love of your neighbour in your heart, you get caught up going to the letter of the law, profaning his feast, all kinds of things, because you're really just trying to save yourself. You didn't take the Ezekiel 2 and 3 calling. Your hands are full of blood. Go and read Ezekiel 2 and 3 to find out what it means for your hands to be full of blood right now. The reason why you're doing that, Isaiah 1, you're doing his feasts, and they are iniquity in Yah's eyes when you do his sacrifices. Like Hosea 8 says, he doesn't accept them. But the spiritual cause of you even doing the feast, and the reason why it's so repulsive to Yah that you're doing them, is because your hands are full of blood. He woke you up so that he could give you his spirit so that you could go and share it with other people. And you actually just took it for granted. You were like, oh, well, we're saved. Screw those guys in the church. We hate those guys. Your hands are full of blood. That's why you're still doing the feasts. That's why you can't hear my voice.